Today, we're going to talk about two functional movements that usually exist in balance with each other, because if you have too much of one and not enough of the other, or vice versa, things feel out of balance. So they are push and pull. So we're going to layer on from the squat and the hinge and some of the things we've already talked about, and then I'll be introducing some new exercises and some new terminology as well. All right, today you need a stable surface as well as a soft supportive surface so you can spend some time on the ground, but we're going to start standing, and we're going to start with something that's already familiar to you called a squat. Okay, so today we're going to start in a turned out squat position. So step your feet a little bit wider than your hips, and we're going to start with a couple just little hip circles to get things going, to get your blood flowing. And then go the other way with your hips. And then hold it in the center. Soften your knees a little bit. Find a neutral spine. Roll your shoulders back. Take a big inhale. Reach your arms up. And exhale. It's really important to tap into your breath. It's something we do all the time and completely take for granted. Do that one more time. Inhale, reach your arms up. Take a hold of your right wrist with your left hand. Take a side stretch up and over. I love the side stretch. I often feel very tight between my hips and my ribs. And it just kind of helps me open up, helps me breathe better, helps me stand taller. Okay, coming up, we're going to start in a turned out squat. I want you to face a stable surface. So that can be a door jamb, a countertop, or a wall. Today, I'm going to be using the bar, but I'm also going to show you what it's like against the wall. Okay, so hold on to a stable surface, and you're going to sit back. So either push into your wall like this as you stand up, careful of the fingerprints, or you're going to pull, like if your hands are in a door jamb, you've got the hands in the sink, you can pull back. I just want you to get used to that range of motion. We're going to be using the stable surface to layer on a push. So today, you're either pushing right away into the wall as you sit your hips back, or you're pulling off your stable surface, right? The whole idea is to lead with your hips, because I see a lot of people doing squats like this with their weight too far forward, with their chest too far down. So lift your chest, okay? And now you're going to lift your heels and add a push-up. So take your hands wide, either as you're pushing against your stable surface like this, and then bend your elbows. And if it's a little awkward for the spacing, get the spacing right on the push, and you can step away from your stable surface on the squat. So it's a push-up to a squat, 3 functional movements: hinge, squat, and push. 3 out of 7, right here. So just move really slowly. You're also getting a little strength and mobility for your feet and your lower body as you come up into that push-up, because you're lifting your heels up to do so. Again, you do all these exercises without shoes on, so that your feet, your foundation, have an opportunity to strengthen, supports everything else upstream. 2 more, and then we're going to come into a plank, either standing or on the ground. I'll show you both options. This one, okay, press back. I'm going to show you standing first, because we're already here. You can do a plank in a standing position. Again, hands shoulder distance apart. Walk your feet back. The closer you stand to the wall, the less load this is going to be for your body. The more you step back, the more load it's going to be. So lift your heels up a little bit and just push against the wall like it's going to fall down, right? And you're trying to hold it up. So slide your shoulders down, pull your abdominals in, push against the wall in opposition to your abdominals pulling in. Again, the angle which you're at, if you're further back, it's going to be harder. If you're a little closer, it's going to be easier. A plank is a plank. Comes whatever variety you want. The other option is to plank on the floor. So place your hands in your shoulders. This is an isometric push. In this case, you're pushing the floor down, pushing your body up. In the case of the standing, you're pushing the wall away. Soften your elbows a little bit. A lot of times I see hyperextending through the arms in planks and all fours and things like that. Soften your elbows. Use your arm muscles, your back muscles, your core muscles to do the work. You can also do this with your knees down. You have 10 more counts. We're going to go into a child's pose. So this is push. Pull your abdominals in and out position. You have 5, 4, 3, 2. Shall open your knees wide. So again, child's pose. You take the knees wide. Shift your hips back. I like to wiggle my hips side to side. I recognize that not everyone can get down in child's pose. It's usually because you have a knee or back issue. So work a little higher if you need to. You can also come into an extension stretch, or you can pull off your stable surface, or again, counter, something you can hold on to and come into a little figure 7 stretch. Stretching is really important, and it's not something that we typically make a lot of time for. So use the time that we dedicate to stretching together, take full advantage of it. Okay, now we did a push-up against the wall. We call that a traditional push-up, more of a chest push-up, where your hands are wider. Now we're gonna do something called a triceps push-up. So you're gonna bring your thumbs and forefingers together. They don't have to touch. And if you have wider shoulders, I would definitely want your hands further apart, but you bring them toward each other. Instead of like this, you're gonna be like this. I will say, make a little diamond shape with your hands. And my hands are about, you see, about this far apart. Some people have to come a little bit wider, but you're, instead of being like this and almost like a goalpost position, you're gonna be turned in a little bit to target more of the triceps, the back of your arm, okay? So a push-up, whether you're standing or you're down on the ground, is a plank in motion. In plank, all the core musculature is firing to hold neutral and to support your body as you lower and lift away from gravity. And so again, you can do this against the wall or on the floor. Turn your fingers in a bit, pull your abdominals in a lot of it, and then lower your chest towards your hands and press back up. I don't care if you lower an inch. I don't care if you lower 5 inches. You are going to avoid going so low that your chest comes to the floor. That's a fitness pet peeve of mine. I've seen those, like, I don't know if they call them like military push-ups, right? Where you like, like it just puts your shoulders in such a messed up end range of motion that your chest does not have to touch the floor or the wall in a push-up, okay? So really watch the range of motion and start where you are. Really focus on your core engagement. Elbows go back to the diagonal here. See that? And if you have some sort of shoulder injury and loading your body on the floor against the wall isn't working for you, you can bring your hands in front of you and just practice like this without weight bearing. But as you lengthen your arms, squeeze your triceps and bend your arms and squeeze your triceps. Believe it or not, with no weight and no gravity involved, you can work to strengthen your arms. It's just being intentional, knowing what you're working and where to engage. Okay, you can do 10 more here. 10 more counts, that is. Pull your abdominals in. You have 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Press all the way back into a child's pose. Flip your palms up, bend your arms in half, and give yourself a pat on the back for doing the work. Okay, we've done a lot of pushing. It's time to balance it out with some pulling. So I'm going to sit on top of a block. The block is optional. You can also do this sitting in a chair. Okay, so find neutral. We practice, you haven't noticed, we practice neutral a lot. And I want it to be like so second nature that you just find yourself in your car, at your desk, or at your dinner table, just sitting up in this amazing posture. You don't even know where it came from. Okay, take one hand to your abdominals, one hand to your low back, lift up tall, take an inhale. Exhale, pull your abdominals in. You'll always hear us talk about pulling in and up when it comes to abdominal work, never pressing out or pushing down. You want your abdominals, you want to work them in the position you want them to stay. So they go pulling in and lifting up, and bring your arms forward. Sometimes we will add weights to this. Today, I want you to do this without weights. We're going to do a bow and arrow. So think about bow and arrow as a pull, also incorporates rotation, which is another functional movement we will continue to learn more about. So we're going to pull, rotate your torso, rotate to the left, come back through center, and then rotate to the right. So it's a pull and a rotation, And actually those two functional movements are often found together. You think about pulling the refrigerator door open or pulling a heavy door open. Notice how my torso is also rotating. I see this sometimes, people pull back like this. And you could do that for sure, but you're going to get more power, more strength when you incorporate the rotation. So pull and rotate, pull and rotate. I'm sure you've heard of pull ups, which is pulling your body weight away from gravity. Those are really intense. We do a variation of those. We also sometimes use different resistance bands at Alkalign to incorporate pulling. Do one more each side. Last one, hold it here. Open your chest, pull your thumbs in. Pull your shoulders back, lift up tall. 4 counts. 3, 2, and 1. Nice job. Sit in whatever position is comfortable for you. Keep your legs out. I'm going to come to my knees. Reach your arms up. Bend your right arm in half. Lift your chin up. We're going to do the same side stretch that we did at the beginning, but you're going to incorporate a little triceps stretch as well to lengthen the muscles that we work to strengthen. And those tricep push-ups, and then switch sides. Lift your chin up. Reach up and over. And then, believe it or not, the pushing and the pulling is a lot of chest and shoulder work. So take your arms out to a V, cross your left arm underneath your right, clasp your palms, lift your elbows up. And if you don't have the shoulder mobility to do this, that's okay. That's just something to take note of. Take notes in a neutral way, neutral notes on what's happening in your body. We are so quick to judge, like, I can't do that. I suck. I hear all this like negative inner critic self-talk come out of people's mouths all the time. I'm like, wait, stop shitting yourself. Stop judging yourself. Just accept yourself for who you are. If you're not going to accept yourself, who is going to, right? Lift your elbows up. Fight forward. But when you listen to your body and you recognize what isn't working, you can do something about it. You 100% have the power to change, right? It just starts one little thing at a time. You're already signed up for this program. You're participating. So give yourself credit for that. And I will see you in our next module.